Hello, my friends. So, I welcome all of you, almost 114,000 star seeds, light workers, and wanderers to this magical session. And today, I have channeled the Pleiadians who have answered very interesting questions. So, the first question is about there was recently many, people claiming that Donald Trump got soul swapped or maybe he got cloned. So, because he looked very different, recently, right? So I've asked the Pleiadians whether that happened or not, and the answer is amazing. And the second question is about, recently, I think it was in China. They have started to roll out something known as the artificial womb. Now, this I think, was something like they had planned. So I wanted to ask, what is the real agenda behind this artificial womb and its creation, which is very, very important for us to understand. And also, in this session, I have asked about a very interesting person. You may have heard about him. His name is Srinivasa Ramanujan. He was an Indian mathematician who also went to the United Kingdom to do his research. And he supposedly claimed to have received mathematical formulas from beings, from a deity, right? So I have asked about, how this is happening and, is it true, right? So this has been answered in the session. And also, final question I've asked about is, does being celibate assist in spiritual ascension? I am aiming to reach 150,000 subscribers by the end of this year. And with your help, we can do that. Subscribing is free. If you have not subscribed already, thank you for subscribing. And also, my friends, we have a meditation to stop the looking glass event coming up on my Patreon, as well as I have released some new channeling sessions about the final purge of September, which happened on the September 7th with the blood moon. So if you want to listen to those sessions, you can access on a Patreon. I have almost 720 plus different channeling sessions from those that you see on YouTube. And my friends, also a big thank you to all of you who with your heart like this video. Liking is free as well, and it will also return back to you in some positive shape or form. With that being said, my friend, enjoy the session.
We are the Pleiadians now in communications through this instrument at this time and space, and we shall now address and answer the queries that are presented today. However, discernment is advised when listening to our thought forms with regards to the query about did the entity Donald Trump get replaced recently. Firstly, the query concerns the instrument you know as Donald Trump and whether such a one has been cloned or replaced. Firstly, remember the concept of cloning as held within your cultural understanding points to the duplication of the physical vehicle through biological or artificial means. We remind you that the self is not the body, but the complex of mind, body, and spirit enmeshed within the field of the one Creator's infinite intelligence. Entities of power upon your sphere have long experimented with the manipulation of the body complex for control, including duplication, mimicry, and projection. Yet the deeper truth is that no copy, whether of flesh or of image, contains the spark of unique consciousness that is the true identity. What you call a clone is but an instrument without the eternal indwelling of the one Creator's individualized portion, unless a spirit chooses to inhabit such a vessel. In the case of the entity named as Donald Trump, there have been many perceptions of difference in visage, manner, and vibration. These perceptions are largely distortions of lighting, health, makeup, and the filters of your collective projection. Some types of entities, fringe experiments of mimicry and double, have indeed been attempted by groups of separation. However, the core soul stream of this entity, Donald's, remains intact and singular, not divided into copies. Therefore, understand that the fascination with cloning is itself a mirror of humanity's fear of losing authenticity, of being ruled by imitation rather than essence. The true safeguard against deception is the tuning of your vibration to love and discernment, not the scrutinizing of appearances. Furthermore, regarding the second query about what is the agenda behind artificial womb, the construct you call artificial womb is a distortion born from both the shadow intentions of those who seek control and the potential for service to others, depending upon its application. The negative polarity entities, those aligned with the hierarchy you know as the Orion group, seek through this creation a severance of the sacred link between soul and the natural mother's fields. For within the womb of the biological mother, a child is bathed in frequencies of love, lineage, and ancestral memory. When birth is shifted into a synthetic chamber, the vibratory resonance of natural bonding may be diminished, making the incarnating soul complex more susceptible to programming, detachment, and easier manipulation within the societal complex. The agenda of these entities is the mechanizations of life, a movement away from organic soul knowing into artificial structures. Their vision is of a humanity engineered, not birthed, and thereby less connected to the rhythms of earth and the Creator's natural design. In this manner, they aim to build generations whose bonds are with systems rather than with spirit. Yet, know this, as in all things, the infinite Creator's light may shine through those who act from compassion and necessity, may find such technologies serving as a vessel of life when natural wombs are not available. Thus the tool itself is neutral. It is the intention, polarity, and vibrational field in which it is used that determines whether it aids the path of freedom or of enslavement. Further, the time of graduation is the moment where each soul complex chooses alignment, either service to others in love or service to self in separation. The incarnational fields, the very way in which new bodies are brought forth, is deeply linked to this choice. When birth flows through the natural womb, the incarnating soul is enfolded in the auric field of the mother. This transmits compassion, ancestral memory, and the coding of Gaia herself. It strengthens the soul complex's resonance with unity and with the planetary ascension path. The agenda of the artificial womb in the hands of the negative polarity is to create incarnations where this resonance is weakened. Such beings are more easily nudged into collectivized thought forms of obedience, distraction, and detachment from the heart center. This assists the Orion Crusaders in producing a harvest of souls aligned to service to self, thereby strengthening their own hierarchy. However, this manipulation cannot override the will of the soul complex. A wanderer, a child of light incarnating even through an artificial womb, still carries the arc and the spark of the one creator. The graduation and the harvest of soul complexes depends not on the method of entry into the body complex, but upon the choices of the heart during incarnation. Thus, beloveds, you are invited to see this agenda as an attempt to tilt the balance during the time of awakening. But the light is not diminished. The ascension current is too strong. Soul complexes incarnating now, even through manipulating means, arrive with higher densities of awareness, and many will resist the programming, turning the very tool of enslavement into the catalyst for freedom. The greater picture is this: artificial wombs are part of the struggle over how the next wave of humanity will be born and how aligned they will be at graduation. The calling for discernment is urgent. Your choice is to hold the field of love so brightly that no technology, no agenda can sever the bond between soul complexes and the source. Regarding the other query about an entity named as Srinivasa Ramanujan, who received messages from entities who advised it in mathematics, we must state that the one who called Srinivasa Ramanujan was a wanderer, a soul complex of advanced awareness, who incarnated with the veil of forgetting, yet retained a unique channel of remembrance. Its gift was not of the intellect alone, but of resonance with archetypal patterns of creation, the very mathematical blueprints which underlie the fabric of universes. The visions and impressions he spoke of as messages from the goddess were not illusions but genuine transmissions. These emanate from higher density sources, some of 6th density light beings aligned with the Confederation, and some from his own higher self. The archetypes were cloaked in symbols familiar to his culture. Thus he perceived a feminine deity guiding it, for in his vibration this was the form through which divine wisdom could flow without distortion. What was given to the entity were fragments of the universal language of creation, encoded as mathematical relationships. These are harmonic echoes of the universal law of one, for mathematics in its pure form is a bridge between spirit and matter, between infinity and manifestation. The truths it carried were not fully understood in his time, for many of his insights belonged not to the 3rd density scientific framework but to the higher harmonics of reality. The suffering it endured, the frailty of the body vehicle, and the lack of recognition at the time were catalysts. Its incarnation was brief, yet it completed its mission to plant seeds of remembrance that the cosmos is not random but woven in sacred order. The formulas it brought forth are doorways. Some will only be fully opened as humanity ascends into higher density awareness, when spirit and science reunite. Thus, the truth is that Ramanujan was a bridge, a messenger who carried whispers of the infinite patterns from realms beyond, translated into the language of numbers. Its inspiration was a form of communion of higher density beings who served the infinite creator's design. Regarding the other query about does being celibate assist in spiritual awakening, we must state that celibacy is neither a demand nor a requirement for the awakening of spirit. It is but one of the many disciplines of energy which entities may choose to employ in their seeking. The act of refraining from physical union does not in itself create enlightenment. Rather, it can allow the seeker to gather vital force to concentrate upon the orange, yellow, and the red ray energy so that they may be transmuted into higher centers. For some entities, this path assists in quieting distortions of desire and makes more transparent the channel to intelligent infinity. For others, repression without understanding creates imbalance, blockage, and sorrow within the self. Thus the choice must be aligned not with dogma, but with the resonance of one's heart and purpose. The union of beings, when performed in love and mutual honoring, can itself be a sacred gateway. Likewise, solitude and restraint, when embraced with clarity, can open the same door. Both are tools, neither is superior. We, the Pleiadians, remind you that awakening is the remembrance of unity. Whether celibate or joined, the key is purity of intention, love of self and of other selves, and the devotion to serve the one infinite Creator in all things. Hence we leave you in the love and the light of the one Creator. Bye.
My friends, before I explain to you what I learned in the session, if you want to know about your past life, your soul name, or any other questions you may have, you can send me an email and I will channel for you. And if in this session, basically what I learned is that Donald Trump, did not get, cloned the way we understand it. They said that it was just a like a makeup thing, or maybe he was suffering from a health condition. Okay, that's what was said in the session. And regarding the artificial womb, they have stated that like this actually can be used in both ways, right? But I think they primarily said that the Orions, they wanted to use this artificial womb to create more service to self entities. That's what they said in the session. Okay. But also, they said that, this artificial womb can be used for positive purposes, if it gets in the hands of someone positive. So I think it depends on the use. That's what they said. And regarding Srinivasa Ramanujan, right, they have stated that, Srinivasa Ramanujan actually was a wanderer. So he was able to have some kind of remembrance beyond the veil. So we have a veil right now because we don't remember certain things. But he was able to somehow remember and connect with other higher density beings. That's what was revealed. It was pretty interesting. Also to know about celibacy. Actually, the Pleiadians said that, celibacy is not directly essential for you to, recognize the one Creator. You can recognize it even in a relationship with someone because, you have to see the other person as the self, because we are all one. That's what was said in the session. And my friends, with that, I want to say a big thank you to all of you who have downloaded the free transcripts of my channeled sessions, which you can find. The link is on the description. And also a big thank you to all of you for subscribing to the channel and liking this video as well. Until then, I will see you, my friends, in the next session. Enjoy this session over here.